Hi, I'm Luke Searveld. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Gaffer. Let's talk about what we're lighting today. We're on a set with a nice set of windows. They're wrapping around and the light is going to change. Sun is coming like that. Early in the morning, about 9-ish, 9 to 10, we get a little of the sun on the front of the buildings. Then it goes behind. But then it starts lighting up our other side here and hitting reflections into the buildings that are on camera right. So all those things affect what we do. What we set out to do was build up sort of a basic key. It's just an M18 through a 6x of half grid. And then our fill, we're getting a little fill from here. It's an 8x and it's just a quarter grid. It's got an M18 and an M8. And that's given us our just sort of general push to the background here. We are going to be shooting people here, just a stand up, and then we're going to do some scenes in the seating up above. So things will change, cameras will move a little bit, but we've got 2 days to run through stuff. And there's a lot to do. There's a lot of networking that has to happen. A lot of different people in remote places have to see stuff. So plenty to do. Okay, so you noticed when the jib went past the camera at the beginning there, that's Jimmy Dunn. He's running our jib here today and giving us, just a little bit of movement along with some sliders. And we've got 4 or 5 cameras running. So lots of things to cut to. Wides, tights, some movement, and that's the way you cover something like this. Give it some interest because really it's just one person talking. So, Jimmy Dunn, you're the jib op.
Hey.
Tell me a little bit about, first of all, how you would approach this as a lead camera person.
Yeah, and see, a jib is a tool that actually expands space. It likes to use big spaces and compress it down to little spaces and it makes people kind of special in a big space. So you got to kind of do both things, which is a real trick. You got to light for a really big space, but also make someone in the foreground look extra special. So it's difficult, especially with all these windows and stuff, to get a nice ambient exposure to all of the stuff with the windows work and the living room furniture works, that kind of thing. And once you have that lit, then you have to light the person in the foreground to that value. It's important that this value and this value is the same. Very often that's a common mistake that's made, and it's something I see in the jibs quite a bit. But the thing about this jibs also too is we're using a 17-120 Canon, which is a great lens for this. We get nice and wide as a zoom lens. We get all this beautiful stuff. And then when we come in, we want to make sure the person that's sort of in the foreground is its own special thing. So the way we do that is we go to an f4 on that lens. So we go up nice and wide. We can rack focus out so that everything's in crispy and focused from the foreground to the background. And as we zoom in, we move our focus as well. So as we sort of the person that's actually in the foreground, we get a nice sharp focus on them, but the background goes soft. So it's really cool that we can separate them from the background. We get 2 looks in the same kind of thing, and that's how you do that. So f4 is the most magic f-stop on that.
And in a sense, you've got 3 different zones, sort of the window, this middle ground, and then our foreground person.
Very, very much so. And what's the most important thing to do is make sure you look at all 3 zones, make sure all 3 work. They have to be lit together as one thing, like a Rubik's Cube. Do all 6 sides.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, it's pretty straightforward, but it does change. So how would we change things? We have some sky panels that we can add to our key. We can pull things down with wire. None of this is on DMX because it's all HMIs. And we do have a couple hidden things. We've got a 400 Jolico that's given me a scratch here. Right now it's got a double in it. And then we have behind the left pillar, we have a 800 Joker that is giving another sort of wash back there. We're not doing anything super dramatic, but we do have to light the space and bring up the foreground so that it will, compete with the windows. That's what we got going. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. this is the end of the day, and we're going to be shooting this shot sort of in the middle of the day. Anyway, then we have the other S60 just to rove around as needed. And then we have two other setups, one sitting here and one sitting here, but everything moves when we do those. And we shoot those on primes instead of the zooms that we're shooting the main thing on. And here we happen to be downtown San Francisco. This is the new Transbay building for transportation hub. There's a beautiful park on the top. It's sort of like a High Line in New York. And then if you look up here, you see there's the Salesforce building, the new tall building in San Francisco. And one of the perks of working during COVID is that there's no one in the building. So we get to run to the place, and you can park in the loading dock all day, multiple days, no problem.